The scent of gunmetal and cedar invades my space before I even hear his footsteps. My phone buzzes, 3:47 a.m., and I know without looking that Luke is already awake, already watching. I shouldn't feel safer because of it. I don't. Chapter 1. The contract my father slid across his mahogany desk had one name printed at the bottom: Luke Kovac, lead security specialist, former military, 0 complaints, perfect record. He starts tomorrow, Father said, not looking up from his laptop. The threats are getting more specific, Greg. I won't have my only son become a headline. I signed. What choice did I have? 3 attempted kidnappings in 6 months will make even the most rebellious heir compliant. But nothing prepared me for him. Luke arrived at sunrise, and I swear the temperature in the foyer dropped 5 degrees. He was tall, 6'3" at least, with shoulders that filled the doorframe and eyes the color of winter steel. His suit was perfectly tailored, his jaw sharp enough to cut glass, and when he looked at me, really looked at me, I felt like a specimen pinned under a microscope. "Mr. Harrington?" His voice was smoke and gravel. He didn't offer his hand. "From this moment forward, I am your shadow." I am not breathing right. "Greg is fine," I managed, trying to sound casual, trying to ignore the way my pulse was doing stupid things. "Mr. Harrington is my father." His eyes tracked over my face, my throat, my chest, cataloging, memorizing. "Greg," he repeated, and the way my name sounded in his mouth felt like a brand. "I'll be conducting a full security assessment of the property today. I'll need access to all rooms, including your private quarters." "My bedroom?" I laughed, but it came out shaky. "Isn't that a bit non-negotiable?" He stepped closer. I could smell him now. Clean soap, leather, and something darker I couldn't name. "If I'm going to keep you alive, I need to know every entrance, every window, every possible vulnerability." The way he said vulnerability made my stomach flip. I should have run then, should have called my father and said this was too much, too intense, too something. Should have trusted the way my hindbrain was screaming danger. I didn't. The first week was fine. Luke was professional, silent. He stood exactly 6 feet behind me at all times, never speaking unless spoken to, never touching me, never even looking at me when I caught him in my peripheral vision. Except he was looking. I could feel it, the weight of his gaze like a physical touch, crawling over my skin even when I was alone in my room. Or thought I was alone. On the 8th night, I woke up thirsty. The digital clock glowed 2:14 a.m. I stumbled out of bed in just my boxer briefs, still half asleep, and padded toward the bathroom. That's when I saw him, Luke, standing in the shadows by my window, completely still, watching me. I am frozen. I am prey. "What the fuck?" my voice cracked. He didn't flinch, didn't apologize, just stared at me in those ice chip eyes, his expression unreadable in the darkness. Heard a noise, perimeter check. In my bedroom? I grabbed a t-shirt from my chair, suddenly very aware of how exposed I was. "How long have you been standing there?" "Long enough." He moved toward me, and God, he moved like a predator, smooth, deliberate, inevitable. "You're a restless sleeper. You talk sometimes, mostly about wanting to escape." My heart hammered against my ribs. You've been watching me sleep?" "I've been protecting you." He stopped inches away. I could feel the heat radiating from his chest. "There's a difference." "Is there?" I am shaking. I am terrified. I am something else I don't want to name. His jaw tightened. For a moment, just a flicker, I saw something dangerous flash behind his eyes. Something hungry. "Go to bed, Greg." He stepped aside, giving me space, but not really, because I had to brush past him to reach the bathroom. Our arms touched. His hand twitched like he wanted to grab me. "I'll be here if you need me." That was the problem. He was always here. Chapter 2. I started testing him after that. Little rebellions, stupid ones. I'd wake up at random hours and check the hallway. He was always there, sitting in the chair outside my door, wide awake, reading security reports on his tablet. "Don't you sleep?" I asked one night, leaning against the doorframe at 4 a.m., wearing nothing but sweatpants because I wanted to see if he'd react. He did. His eyes dropped to my bare chest for exactly 2 seconds before snapping back to my face. His knuckles went white around the tablet. "I sleep when you're safe," he said, standing, and suddenly the hallway felt very small. "I'm safe now. I'm in my own house." "You're never safe." He took a step forward. I took a step back. My shoulders hit the doorframe. "That's why I'm here." I laughed, but it came out brittle. "You're paranoid." "I'm thorough." He took a step forward. I took a step back. My shoulders hit the doorframe. "The difference has kept my clients alive for 7 years." "Clients?" I repeated, hating how breathless I sounded. "Is that what I am?" His eyes dropped to my mouth. "Go to bed, Greg." "You didn't answer." "Bed." The command in his voice made my knees weak. "Now." I went, but I felt his eyes on me the entire time, burning through the closed door like an infrared camera. I am being watched. I am being hunted. I should be more afraid. The bathroom was my only sanctuary. 20 minutes of privacy behind a locked door, steam and hot water drowning out the constant awareness of being observed. I stood under the spray, letting it pound the tension from my shoulders, trying not to think about Luke's eyes, Luke's voice, Luke's massive body standing guard in the darkness. Failing spectacularly. I am losing my mind. When I finally turned off the water and stepped out, wrapping a towel around my waist, I froze. The bathroom door was open. Just a crack. Just enough. I know I locked it. I know I did. "Luke?" My voice echoed off the marble tiles. Silence. I wrapped the towel tighter and stepped into my bedroom. Empty, but my phone was moved, just slightly, on the nightstand. And there was a note, handwritten, neat block letters. "Bathroom lock is faulty. I've ordered a replacement. Until then, I'll be conducting random checks to ensure your safety. J." My hands shook as I crumpled the note. Random checks, while I was showering. This was insane. This was crossing every line. This was... My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Don't be angry. I'm keeping you safe. That's all that matters. Sleep well, Greg." I am not safe. I am trapped. And the worst part, the absolutely fucked up, twisted part, a dark corner of my brain whispered, "But you like it." Chapter 3. I discovered the tracking app by accident. We were at a charity gala, one of those insufferable events where the city's elite pretended to care about the homeless while sipping $300 champagne. Luke was, of course, shadowing me, looking devastating in a black suit that probably cost more than most people's cars. Every woman, and more than a few men, tracked him with hungry eyes. He didn't notice, or didn't care. His attention was locked on me with laser focus. "You could at least pretend to enjoy yourself," I muttered, grabbing another glass from a passing waiter. "I'm not here to enjoy myself." His hand shot out, intercepting the glass before it reached my lips. "Excuse me?" "Alcohol impairs judgment and reaction time." He set the glass on a nearby table, his hand lingering on my wrist. "If something happens, I need you sharp." "If something happens, you're here to handle it." I jerked my hand away, but his fingers tightened, just for a second, just enough to send a clear message. "I decide when you pull away." "Greg." His voice dropped to barely above a whisper, forcing me to lean closer to hear over the string quartet. "Don't fight me on this. Not here. Not in public." I am being controlled. I am being owned. And everyone around us just sees a protective bodyguard doing his job. Later that night, I was scrolling through my phone in bed when I noticed something, a small icon I didn't recognize in my app list. GPS Shield. I never downloaded that. I opened it, and my blood turned to ice. It was a tracking app, real-time location, movement history, a detailed log of everywhere I'd been for the past 2 weeks, the gym, the coffee shop, my friend Marcus's apartment, even the 15 minutes I'd spent in the bookstore last Tuesday, lingering in the poetry section. Every single movement logged and monitored. I am being stalked by my own bodyguard. I didn't think, just stormed out of my room and down the hall to the East Wing, the section of the mansion reserved for security staff, Luke's quarters. I pounded on his door. He opened it immediately, like he'd been waiting, like he knew. He was shirtless, wearing only black tactical pants, and Jesus Christ, I was not prepared for the expanse of scarred muscle and ink that covered his torso. Focus, Greg. What the fuck is this? I shoved my phone at him, the tracking app glowing accusingly. He glanced at the screen, then at me. No guilt, no shame, no apology in those cold eyes. Security protocol. I need to know where you are at all times. You didn't ask me, my voice was shaking. You just invaded my privacy, my phone, your life. He pushed off the frame and stepped into my space. I stumbled backward into his room. The door clicked shut behind me. I can't protect you if I don't know where you are. He grabbed my wrist, the same one he'd held at the gala, and his grip was firm enough to bruise. What if something happened? What if you were taken and I had no way to find you? That's not... I tried to pull away. He didn't let go. You can't just... I can. His other hand came up to cup my jaw, forcing me to meet his eyes. I will do whatever it takes to keep you safe, Greg. Whatever it takes. Do you understand? I am burning up. I am drowning. His thumb brushed over my lower lip, and I swear to God I stopped breathing. The app stays, he murmured, and his voice was dark honey and broken glass. If you delete it, I'll just install it again. If you get a new phone, I'll track that too. You can fight me on this, or you can accept that your safety is more important than your pride. This isn't about safety, the words tumbled out before I could stop them. This is about control. Something flickered in his expression, not denial, confirmation. Maybe, he said softly, and the honesty of it was more terrifying than any lie. But you're still safer with me watching. He let me go. I stumbled backward, my heart trying to punch through my sternum. Get some sleep, he said, opening the door for me. Big day tomorrow. Your father wants you at the office for the board meeting. I left, but as I walked back to my room, I could feel his eyes on me. And when I checked my phone later, the tracking app was still there. I didn't delete it. I am so fucked. Chapter 4. It started small. Marcus called, I told Luke the next morning over breakfast. We're meeting for lunch at Rossetti's. Luke set down his coffee. No. I'm sorry, what? Marcus Chen, former college roommate, known recreational drug user, 2 DUIs, associates with the Valdez family who have suspected ties to organized crime. He's a security risk. Lunch is canceled. He's my friend. I pushed my eggs around my plate, appetite gone. And those DUIs were 4 years ago. He's been clean since... I don't care if he's been sober for a decade. Luke's jaw was granite. He's a liability. You're not seeing him. You don't get to make that decision. Yes, Greg. He leaned forward, and the intensity in his eyes made my stomach drop. Yes, I do. After that, it got worse. My calls started dropping. Texts went unanswered. When I finally confronted Luke about it, he didn't even try to hide it. I've implemented a security filter on your communications, he explained, like it was the most reasonable thing in the world. Any contact I deem a potential threat is blocked. You're blocking my friends? I'm filtering distractions. He handed me a tablet showing a list of names, red flags next to each one. Marcus, drug history. Sienna, posts location data on social media. Derek, frequents nightclubs with poor security. These people make you vulnerable, Greg. They compromise your safety. They're my life! I grabbed the tablet and threw it across the room. It shattered against the wall. Luke didn't even flinch at the destruction, just looked at me with that calm, terrifying patience. "I can," he said, and he stepped over the broken tablet. "I will. Until the threats are neutralized, your social circle is restricted to vetted personnel only." "So what, just you? Just you and my father and nobody else?" "If that's what it takes." He was close now. Too close. I could smell his cologne, something dark and woodsy that made my thoughts blur. "I hate you," I whispered. His expression didn't change, but his hand came up to brush a strand of hair from my forehead, gentle despite everything. "No," he murmured, "you don't." Chapter 5. The charity gala ran late. By the time we left, the city was drowning in a late autumn downpour, the kind that turns streets into rivers and makes the world feel small and claustrophobic. Luke opened the limo door for me, his hand hovering at the small of my back, not quite touching, but close enough that I could feel the heat of his palm through my suit jacket. I slid across the leather seat. He followed, and the door shut with a heavy thunk that felt terrifyingly final. We were alone. The driver was separated by a privacy partition. The windows were tinted black. The rain hammered the roof like 1,000 desperate fingers. I am alone with the wolf. "You were reckless tonight," he said quietly, not looking at me. His jaw was tight, muscle twitching beneath the skin. "That photographer got within 3 feet of you. He was taking pictures. That's literally his job." "He was too close." Luke's hand flexed on his thigh. "I don't like when people get too close to you." "People or everyone?" I turned to face him, something reckless bubbling up in my chest. Maybe it was the champagne I'd snuck when he wasn't looking. Maybe it was 3 weeks of suffocating control finally breaking something inside me. "You think I want you dependent on me?" His voice was rough, dangerous, nothing like his usual controlled monotone. "Isn't it?" My pulse thundered in my ears. I should push his hand away, should tell him to stop, should remember every reason this was wrong. I didn't. "No, Greg." He leaned in, and God, his eyes were molten silver in the darkness, rain shadows sliding across his face like war paint. "This is about the fact that every single person in that ballroom tonight looked at you like you were prey, like you were something to be taken, and the only thing stopping them from trying was me." His hand tightened on my thigh, not painful, but firm enough to send a clear message. "Mine. You don't own me," I breathed. "Don't I?" His thumb stroked over the inside of my thigh, once, twice, and my brain short-circuited. "Tell me, Greg, when's the last time you made a decision I didn't approve of? When's the last time you went somewhere I didn't allow, spoke to someone I didn't vet?" I am shaking. I am lost. "That's not, when's the last time you felt safe without me?" His face was inches from mine now. I could see every scar on his jaw, every fleck of darkness in his eyes. "When you wake up in the middle of the night and think you hear something, who do you picture coming to save you? Your father? The police?" "Stop!" My voice cracked. "It's me, isn't it?" His hand slid higher, not quite crossing the line, but dancing right along the edge of it. "You picture me. You need me. And the fucked up thing is, I need you too. I need to know where you are, what you're doing, who you're with. I need to see you safe and whole and mine, or I can't fucking breathe." "This is insane." I tried to push him away, tried to find the anger I should be feeling, found something else instead. "You're supposed to protect me, not fall for you?" He laughed, and it was the saddest sound I'd ever heard. "Too late, beautiful. I fell the moment I saw you, and I've been drowning ever since." Then he kissed me. Or I kissed him. I don't know who moved first, just that suddenly his mouth was on mine, hot and demanding and tasting like rain and desperation, and I was kissing him back like my life depended on it, like he was oxygen and I'd been suffocating for weeks. His hands fisted in my hair, pulling my head back, deepening the kiss until I was gasping against his lips. My hands found his chest, felt the rapid hammer of his heartbeat beneath muscle and bone and expensive fabric. He's as wrecked as I am. Greg, he groaned against my mouth, and hearing him say my name like that, like a prayer, like a curse, made something inside me shatter. Fuck, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I tried to stay professional, tried to keep my distance, but God, you make me insane. Then stop, I whispered, even as my hand slid up to grip his shoulders. Stop watching me. Stop controlling me. Stop. I can't. He pulled back just enough to look at me, and the raw honesty in his eyes stole my breath. I will never let anyone hurt you, never let anyone touch you, never let you go. Do you understand? You're mine to protect, and that means you're mine in every way that matters. I should be terrified, should be calling my father, filing complaints, demanding a new bodyguard. Instead, I pulled him back down and kissed him again, harder this time, tasting the darkness and the obsession and the twisted, fucked up thing growing between us. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Luke pressed his forehead to mine. "I'm sorry," he whispered. But we both knew he wasn't, and we both knew I didn't want him to be. Chapter 6. The Mayor's Gala was the social event of the season. 500 of the city's most influential people crammed into the grand ballroom, dripping in diamonds and desperation to be seen. I'd been planning my escape for 3 days. Luke was watching me like always, standing exactly 6 feet away, his eyes tracking every movement, every conversation, every breath. But even he couldn't monitor me every second, not with this many people, not with this much chaos. So when he stepped away to speak with the head of my father's security team, I made my move. I slipped through the crowd, heading toward the back hallways, the service corridors the staff used. Marcus had texted me earlier, from a burner phone Luke didn't know about, that he'd be waiting by the east exit. Just 15 minutes, just long enough to feel like a person again instead of a possession. I am almost free. The hallway was dimly lit, smelling of industrial cleaner and desperation. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Almost there. Almost. A hand shot out from the shadows and grabbed my arm, spinning me around and slamming me against the wall hard enough to knock the air from my lungs. Luke. His eyes were black with fury. No, not fury. Something darker. Something dangerous. Going somewhere? His voice was velvet over razor blades. I am caught. I am fucked. I just needed some air, I lied, trying to sound casual even though I was shaking. The ballroom was getting stuffy. Really? He pressed closer, his body caging me against the wall. My hand came up to grip my jaw, forcing me to meet his eyes. Because according to the tracker I put in your shoe, you were heading toward the east exit, the same exit your friend Marcus is currently loitering near. My stomach dropped. You put a tracker in my shoe? I put trackers in all your shoes, your belt, your watch, your phone. Obviously. Did you really think I'd trust just the app? You're insane! I tried to push him away. You can't just... Who were you meeting? His thumb pressed into the hinge of my jaw. Not quite painful, but the threat was clear. Tell me. None of your fucking business. Everything about you is my business. He slammed his other hand against the wall beside my head. I flinched. You're trying to sneak away from your protection to meet with someone I specifically told you was dangerous. What part of that seems safe to you? What part of this seems sane to you? I shot back. The tracking devices, the constant surveillance, the fact that you have every aspect of my life under your control, the part where you're still alive. His face was inches from mine now. I could see every scar on his jaw, every fleck of darkness in his eyes. When you wake up in the middle of the night and think you hear something, who do you picture coming to save you? Your father? The police? Stop! My voice cracked. It's me, isn't it? His hand slid higher, not quite crossing the line, but dancing right along the edge of it. You picture me. You need me. And the fucked up thing is, I need you too. I need to know where you are, what you're doing, who you're with. I need to see you safe and whole and mine, or I can't fucking breathe. This is insane. I tried to push him away, tried to find the anger I should be feeling, found something else instead. You're supposed to protect me, not fall for you? He laughed, and it was the saddest sound I'd ever heard. Too late, beautiful. I fell the moment I saw you, and I've been drowning ever since. Then he kissed me. Or I kissed him. I don't know who moved first, just that suddenly his mouth was on mine, hot and demanding and tasting like rain and desperation, and I was kissing him back like my life depended on it, like he was oxygen and I'd been suffocating for weeks. His hands fisted in my hair, pulling my head back, deepening the kiss until I was gasping against his lips. My hands found his chest, felt the rapid hammer of his heartbeat beneath muscle and bone and expensive fabric. He's as wrecked as I am. Greg, he groaned against my mouth, and hearing him say my name like that, like a prayer, like a curse, made something inside me shatter. Fuck, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I tried to stay professional, tried to keep my distance, but God, you make me insane. Then stop, I whispered, even as my hands slid up to grip his shoulders. Stop watching me. Stop controlling me. Stop. I can't. He pulled back just enough to look at me, and the raw honesty in his eyes stole my breath. I will never let anyone hurt you, never let anyone touch you, never let you go. Do you understand? You're mine to protect, and that means you're mine in every way that matters. I should be terrified. Should be calling my father, filing complaints, demanding a new bodyguard. Instead, I pulled him back down and kissed him again, harder this time, tasting the darkness and the obsession and the twisted, fucked up thing growing between us. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Luke pressed his forehead to mine. "I'm sorry," he whispered, but we both knew he wasn't, and we both knew I didn't want him to be. The mayor's gala was the social event of the season. 500 of the city's most influential people crammed into the grand ballroom, dripping in diamonds and desperation to be seen. I'd been planning my escape for 3 days. Luke was watching me like always, standing exactly 6 feet away, his eyes tracking my every movement, every conversation, every breath. But even he couldn't monitor me every second, not with this many people, not with this much chaos. So when he stepped away to speak with the head of my father's security team, I made my move. I slipped through the crowd, heading toward the back hallways, the service corridors the staff used. Marcus had texted me earlier from a burner phone Luke didn't know about that he'd be waiting by the east exit. Just 15 minutes, just long enough to feel like a person again instead of a possession. I am almost free. The hallway was dimly lit, smelling of industrial cleaner and desperation. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Almost there. Almost. A hand shot out from the shadows and grabbed my arm, spinning me around and slamming me against the wall hard enough to knock the air from my lungs. Luke. His eyes were black with fury. No, not fury. Something darker. Something dangerous. Going somewhere? His voice was velvet over razor blades. I am caught. I am fucked. I just needed some air, I lied, trying to sound casual even though I was shaking. The ballroom was getting stuffy. Really? He pressed closer, his body caging me against the wall. Because according to the tracker I put in your shoe, you were heading toward the east exit, the same exit your friend Marcus is currently loitering near. My stomach dropped. You put a tracker in my shoe? I put trackers in all your shoes. His hand came up to grip my jaw, forcing me to meet his eyes. Your belt, your watch, your phone, obviously. Did you really think I'd trust just the app? You're insane. I tried to push him away. You can't just... Who were you meeting? His thumb pressed into the hinge of my jaw, not quite painful, but the threat was clear. Tell me. None of your fucking business. Everything about you is my business. He slammed his other hand against the wall beside my head. I flinched. You're trying to sneak away from your protection to meet with someone I specifically told you was dangerous. What part of that seems safe to you? What part of this seems sane to you? The tracking devices, the constant surveillance, the fact that you have every aspect of my life under your control? The part where you're still alive. His face was inches from mine. The part where no one has managed to kidnap you or hurt you or take you away from me because I know exactly where you are every second of every fucking day. You mean away from you? That's what this is about. Realization crashed over me. You don't care about my safety. You care about keeping me close, keeping me mine. The word was a growl. You're mine, Greg. Mine to protect, mine to watch, mine to keep safe from every threat, including your own stupid decisions. He kissed me then, hard and possessive and angry, his teeth catching my lower lip, his hands fisting in my hair. I should fight him, should scream, should do literally anything except kiss him back. But I did. God help me. I did. Because some sick, twisted part of me loved it. Loved being wanted this much, loved being the center of someone's entire universe, even if that universe was dark and obsessive and probably deeply unhealthy. When he finally pulled back, we were both breathing hard. You're not meeting Marcus, he said, his voice rough. You're coming back to the ballroom with me, and you're going to smile and play nice for another hour. Then we're going home, and we're going to have a very serious conversation about boundaries. Boundaries? I laughed, slightly hysterical. That's rich coming from you. His eyes flashed. Then he grabbed my wrist and started dragging me back down the hallway. Luke, stop! I said we're leaving. He didn't even look back. And if you ever try to run from me again, I will make sure you physically can't. Do you understand? I should be terrified. I was, but I was also something else. Something warm and electric and absolutely fucked up. I am falling for my captor, and he knows it. Chapter 7. 3 days after the gala incident, I'd had enough. Luke was in a meeting with my father, something about updated security protocols that would probably make my life even more restrictive, so I decided to do some investigating of my own. The East Wing, Luke's private quarters, the place he'd caught me trying to leave from. I am breaking into the wolf's den. The door was locked, obviously, but I'd watched him enter his security code enough times to memorize it. 0824. My birthday. Of course it was. That should have been my first warning. The room was sparse, military neat, a bed with hospital corners, a desk with precisely organized files, a wall of monitors showing various security feeds from around the mansion. Normal, professional, exactly what you'd expect from a... Then I saw the second wall. I am going to sick. Photos, hundreds of them, covering every inch of available space like wallpaper made of my life. Me sleeping, me laughing at something on my phone, me in the shower. The glass was frosted, but still, how? Me eating breakfast, me reading, me just existing, captured from every angle in every moment, a complete archive of my private life laid bare. Some were clearly from security cameras. Others were taken from angles that meant he was there, in the room with me, taking photos while I was unaware. And in the center of it all, pinned carefully above his desk, a photo of me from the first day we met. I was looking up at the camera, at him, with uncertainty in my eyes. Someone had drawn a small heart in the corner in red ink. Greg. I spun around. Luke was standing in the doorway, and for the first time since I'd met him, he looked vulnerable, exposed, caught. "I can explain," he said quietly. "Explain what? That you've been stalking me? Photographing me without my consent? Building some kind of shrine to your obsession?" He stepped inside and closed the door. The click of the lock made my heart stutter. I am alone with a monster. "It's not a shrine." He moved toward me slowly, like I was a spooked animal. I needed to see you. Even when I wasn't on duty, I needed to know you were safe. The photos helped." "Helped with what?" "With not going insane." He stopped a few feet away, his hands flexing at his sides, like he was physically restraining himself from touching me. "Do you have any idea what it's like? Watching you every day, being so close to you, wanting you so fucking badly it physically hurts, and knowing I can never have you? You're my bodyguard, Luke. You're not supposed to have me." "I know." His laugh was broken. "Believe me, I know. I've told myself that every single day for the past month, that this is wrong, that I'm crossing lines, that I need to stay professional. But then you smile at me, or you say my name in that breathy way you do when you're nervous, or you look at me like you're looking at me right now, half terrified, half curious, and I forget every rule I've ever had." He took another step forward. I should back away, should run. I stayed. He continued, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper. "The photos started as security documentation, just, making sure I knew your patterns, your routines. But then I couldn't stop. I'd see you doing something, laughing at a text, stretching in the morning, biting your lip when you're thinking, and I'd need to capture it, need to have some piece of you that was mine." "This is sick, Luke." "I know. Another step. This is stalking. This is obsession. This is every red flag you've been trying to ignore wrapped up in a nice, neat package, and you should run. You should call your father, file a complaint, get me fired and arrested and restraining ordered." He was right in front of me, now close enough that I could feel his body heat, smell his cologne, see the desperation in his eyes. "But you're not going to, are you?" "I am falling. I am drowning." "Why not?" My voice came out barely above a breath. His hand came up to cup my face, thumb tracing my cheekbone with devastating gentleness. "Because you feel it too," he murmured. "This thing between us, this dark, twisted, fucked up thing that shouldn't exist but does anyway. You're caught as I am, and we both know it." "I don't..." But the words died when he kissed me. Soft this time, achingly gentle, like I was something precious instead of prey. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against mine. "Stay," he whispered, "just for tonight. Let me hold you, let me pretend you're mine, just once." I should say no, should leave, should do literally anything except what I did next. "Okay," I breathed. His arms came around me like a cage, like safety, like home. And as he walked me backward toward his bed, I realized something terrifying. I didn't want to leave. He laid me down on his bed like I was made of glass. The mattress was firm, the sheets crisp and smelling of him, cedar and something darker. "Tell me to stop," he murmured, hovering over me, his weight braced on his forearms. "Tell me this is wrong and I'll walk away. I'll quit tomorrow. You'll never have to see me again." I should. God, I should. Instead, I reached up and pulled him down. The kiss was slow this time, deliberate. His lips moved over mine like he was memorizing the taste of me, the shape of me, the way I gasped when his tongue traced my lower lip. His hands slid under my shirt, palms hot against my ribs, my stomach, my chest, exploring, claiming, every touch deliberate and controlled, even though I could feel him shaking. "You're so beautiful," he breathed against my mouth. "So fucking beautiful, it makes me crazy. I look at you and I forget how to be professional, how to keep my distance, how to be anything except yours." "Luke!" His name came out as a moan when his lips found my throat, teeth scraping over my pulse point. "Luke!" "Say it again." His voice was wrecked. "Say my name like that again. Luke!" He groaned low and desperate, and suddenly his control snapped. His hands fisted in my hair, holding me in place while he kissed me like he was drowning and I was air, like he'd been starving for weeks and I was the first meal he'd seen. I am burning. I am consumed. My shirt came off. When? I don't know. His followed, and then it was just skin on skin, the hard planes of his chest pressing against mine, his heartbeat thundering against my ribs. "Tell me you want this," he demanded, pulling back just enough to look at me. His eyes were wild, desperate. "Tell me I'm not imagining the way you look at me." The words stuck in my throat, because saying them made it real, made this thing between us something I couldn't take back. "I want this," I whispered. "I want you, even though it's insane, even though you've stalked me and controlled me and crossed every boundary, I still want you." Something broke in his expression. Relief, triumph, possession. "Mine," he breathed, and kissed me again, deeper this time, his tongue sliding against mine in a way that made my toes curl. "Yours, mine, Greg, say it." "Yours." The word tasted like surrender, like freedom. "I'm yours." His hands were everywhere, sliding down my sides, gripping my hips, pulling me flush against him until I could feel every hard plane of his body, every desperate edge of his control fracturing. "I've imagined this," he groaned against my throat, teeth scraping over my collarbone. "Luke, please." "Please what?" He pulled back, eyes molten. "Tell me what you need." "You." I am wrecked. I am his. Just you. He kissed me again, and this time there was no gentleness, just raw need and desperation, and the feeling of falling off a cliff with no idea where the bottom was. His fingers worked at my belt, my zipper, stripping away the last barriers between us with practiced efficiency. My breath came in sharp gasps as his hand wrapped around me, stroking with just enough pressure to make stars explode behind my eyelids. "Look at me," he commanded, rough. "Keep your eyes on me." I did, and the intensity in his gaze, the sheer possession, nearly destroyed me. "That's it," he murmured, his rhythm steady, devastating. "Let me see you fall apart. Let me see what I do to you. I am shattering. I am flying apart at the seams." The pleasure built like a wave, cresting higher and higher until I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't do anything except hold on to him and let him take me over that edge. When I finally broke, it wasn't just my body. It was every wall I'd built, every defense I'd clung to, every lie I'd told myself about not needing him, not wanting this, not being completely and utterly his. "Beautiful," he breathed, watching me with something like reverence. "So fucking beautiful when you let go." He held me through the aftershocks, his arms solid and safe and terrifying all at once. And as I came down from the high, reality crashed back in. I just let my stalker Bodyguard give me the best orgasm of my life, in a room covered with photos he took of me without permission. I should feel disgusted, violated, terrified. Instead, I felt safe. I am so fucked. Chapter 8. The threat came 3 days later. I woke up to chaos, my father's voice shouting in the hallway, security teams flooding the mansion, and Luke standing in my doorway looking like death personified. "Get dressed," he said clippedly, professionally in a way he hadn't been since that night in his room. "We're leaving in 10 minutes. "What's happening?" I stumbled out of bed, still half asleep. "Luke, what—" "Someone leaked your location to the Valdez family. They're planning a move tonight. Multiple targets confirmed. Your father is going to the corporate safe house. You're coming with me." My blood ran cold. The Valdez family? But they are very real, very dangerous, and very motivated, he said, grabbing my arm, steadying me when I swayed. "I told you Marcus was a security risk. His cousin works for them. They've been tracking your movements through him." Guilt crashed over me. "The burner phone!" "The burner phone," he confirmed grimly, "which they traced, which gave them patterns, which gave them opportunities." He cupped my face, forcing me to focus. "But I'm not going to let them take you. I will keep you safe. Do you trust me?" I should say no, should demand other security, should insist on staying with my father. But when I looked into his eyes, I saw the same desperate intensity that had been there when he'd touched me, kissed me, made me fall apart in his arms. "Yes," I whispered, "I trust you." Something fierce and possessive flashed across his face. "Good, then let's go." The safe house was 3 hours north in the mountains, a fortress disguised as a luxury cabin, all stone and timber and bulletproof glass, overlooking a lake that looked black in the pre-dawn darkness. Luke swept the perimeter while I stood in the massive living room, trying to process everything that had happened in the last 6 hours. Someone wanted to kidnap me, maybe kill me, and the only thing standing between me and that fate was the man who'd been stalking me for weeks. "All clear," Luke said, coming back inside and locking the door behind him. Multiple locks, heavy deadbolts. The sound was final. "We're completely off-grid here. No one knows this location except me and your father. You're safe." "Safe," I repeated hollowly. "Trapped in the middle of nowhere with my obsessive bodyguard. Yeah, super safe." He flinched, actually flinched. "Greg, don't." I held up a hand. "Just don't. I know this is real. I know the threat is real. But let's not pretend this isn't exactly what you wanted. Me completely isolated. No friends, no family, just you." "That's not—" He stopped, looked away. "Okay, maybe part of me is relieved. Maybe I'm a selfish bastard who's glad I get you all to myself for a while. But that doesn't mean I'm not terrified for you. That doesn't mean I wouldn't take a bullet for you without hesitation." The honesty in his voice cracked something in my chest. "How long?" I asked quietly. "How long do we have to stay here? Until the threat is neutralized. Could be days, could be weeks." He ran a hand through his hair, and for the first time since I'd met him, he looked uncertain. "I know this isn't ideal. I know you probably hate me right now, but I need you to understand. Keeping you alive is the only thing that matters to me. Everything else is secondary." "Including my freedom?" "Including everything." He met my eyes. "I'm not going to apologize for that, Greg. I can't." I should be angry, should fight this, should demand he take me back. But the truth was, I was exhausted from fighting him, exhausted from fighting myself, exhausted from pretending I didn't feel this dark, twisted pull toward him. "Fine," I said finally, "but if we're going to be stuck here together, we're establishing some ground rules." His eyebrow raised. "Such as?" "No more tracking devices I don't know about." "Done. No more photos without permission." He hesitated, then nodded. "Agreed. And you sleep in your own room. We're not— Whatever happened before doesn't happen again. Not here, not like this." Something painful flashed in his eyes, but he nodded. "Understood." But we both knew it was a lie. Chapter 9. The first week was strange. We fell into a routine. Luke would wake at dawn, check the perimeter, make breakfast. I'd sleep in, avoid him as much as possible in a house with no escape, read books from the extensive library. We'd eat dinner in tense silence, then retreat to separate rooms. It should have been unbearable. It wasn't, because little things kept happening, small cracks in the professional facade. Like the morning I found him making pancakes, actual pancakes, not the protein-heavy tactical breakfast he usually insisted on. "You mentioned once that you liked blueberry pancakes," he said without turning around, his shoulders tense like he was embarrassed. "I found some frozen berries in the freezer." My heart did something stupid. "You remembered that?" He flipped a pancake with aggressive precision. Occupational hazard. Or the afternoon it started snowing, and I made a comment about never seeing the northern lights. That night he woke me at 2 a.m., wrapped me in blankets, and dragged me outside to watch Aurora Borealis paint the sky in impossible colors. "Worth it?" he asked softly, standing close enough that I could feel his warmth. "Yeah," I breathed, watching green and purple dance across the darkness. "Worth it." Or the evening I caught him reading one of my favorite books, a romance novel I'd left on the coffee table. He looked up, caught me staring, and had the decency to look sheepish. "It's good," he muttered. "The love interest is an idiot, but it's good." I laughed, actually laughed, and something shifted between us. "You're reading it wrong," I said, sitting beside him on the couch, not quite touching, but closer than I'd let myself get in days. "The love interest isn't an idiot," I said, meeting his eyes. "He's scared. There's a difference." "Scared of what?" Luke set the book down, his full attention on me now, always on me. "Of losing control, of wanting something so badly it makes him irrational, of crossing lines he can never uncross." The air between us crackled. "That's not the love interest," Luke said quietly. "That's me." "I know." The kiss happened slowly this time. No desperation, no urgency. Just Luke leaning in, giving me every opportunity to pull away, and me closing the distance instead. His lips were soft against mine, questioning, like he was asking permission for something we both knew had already been decided. "Greg," he murmured against my mouth, "tell me to stop." "No." I kissed him again, deeper. "I'm done pretending I don't want this." Something broke in him. He pulled me onto his lap, hands gripping my hips, my thighs, anywhere he could touch. The kiss turned hungry, desperate, everything we'd been holding back for days pouring out in the space between us. "I tried to stay away," he groaned, his lips moving to my throat. "Tried to give you space, but God, Greg, I can't breathe when you're not close to me." "Then stop trying." I fisted my hands in his hair, pulling him closer. "Stop fighting it." "If I stop fighting it," he pulled back, his eyes dark with need and something like fear. "If I let myself have you the way I want, I won't be able to let you go. Ever. You understand that, right? This isn't casual for me. This isn't—" "I know." I kissed him again, softer this time. "I know what you are, Luke. I know you're obsessed. I know you're possessive. I know you're probably not good for me." I traced his jaw with my fingertips, but I also know that I've never felt as safe, as wanted, as seen as I do when I'm with you, even when you're being completely insane. He laughed, a rough, broken sound, and kissed me again. "Insane," he agreed. "That's what you do to me." He carried me to his bedroom, not mine, and laid me out on his bed like I was something precious. "Last chance," he warned, hovering over me. "If we do this, you're mine, completely. No takebacks, no second thoughts, no running away when this gets hard." "I'm already yours." The truth of it settled in my chest. I have been since that first night you watched me sleep. His control shattered. Clothes disappeared. His hands were everywhere, stripping away barriers with desperate efficiency. His mouth followed, kissing every inch of newly exposed skin like he was mapping territory, claiming what was his. So perfect, he breathed against my hip. So fucking perfect and mine. I arched into his touch, my hands gripping his shoulders, his hair, anything to anchor myself as he kissed lower, lower, until, Luke! His name came out as a gasp, a prayer, a surrender. That's it, he murmured, his lips moving to my throat. Let me hear you fall apart. And I did. God, I did. He took me apart with his mouth, his hands, his whispered words of possession and promise until I was shaking and boneless and completely his. When he finally moved back up my body, his eyes were molten. I love you, he said, raw and honest. I know I shouldn't. I know it's too soon and too intense and probably deeply unhealthy, but I love you, Greg. I'm completely, obsessively, irreversibly in love with you. My breath caught. Luke! You don't have to say it back. He kissed me, slow and deep. Just let me show you. And he did. He made love to me with an intensity that bordered on worship, every touch deliberate, every kiss branding, every whispered word a promise of forever. When he finally moved inside me, the world narrowed to a single point of overwhelming sensation, pleasure and pain and connection so intense it felt like drowning. Look at me, he commanded, and I did. I want to see your eyes when you come apart. I am burning. I am flying. I am his. The pleasure built like a wave, cresting higher and higher until I shattered, not just my body, but every defense I had left, every fear, every doubt, until there was nothing but him and me and this dark, beautiful thing between us. Mine, he groaned as he followed me over the edge. Forever mine. Afterward, he held me close, my head on his chest, his heartbeat steady beneath my ear. I meant it, he whispered into the darkness. I love you. I closed my eyes, feeling the truth settle into my bones. I love you too. God help me. I love you too. His arms tightened around me, and I knew, we both knew, there was no going back from this. Chapter 10. 2 weeks later, Luke got the call. The Valdez threat was neutralized. 3 members arrested, the rest scattered. My father's security team had swept the mansion. Everything was clear. We could go home. Luke hung up the phone and looked at me across the breakfast table. His expression was carefully blank. What? I asked, my coffee halfway to my lips. The threat's over. He said it like he was announcing a funeral. We can leave today. I should have been relieved, should have been excited to get back to my life, my friends, my freedom. Instead, my stomach dropped. Oh, I said quietly, that's good. Silence stretched between us, heavy, loaded. Is it? Finally Luke asked. Good? I set down my coffee. What are you asking me, Luke? He stood, rounded the table, pulled me to his feet. His hands framed my face, forcing me to meet his eyes. I'm asking you if you want to go back to your mansion, back to your social calendar, back to a life where I'm just your employee who has to watch other people touch you, talk to you, look at you like they have any right to you. You'll still be my bodyguard. I don't want to be your bodyguard. The words came out harsh, desperate. I want to be yours, completely. No pretense, no professional distance, no watching you from 6 feet away when all I want is to hold you. My heart hammered against my ribs. What are you saying? I'm saying stay. His forehead pressed against mine. Stay here with me. Let me keep you safe. Let me love you without hiding it. Let me have you the way I've wanted since the moment I met you. Luke, that's insane. I can't just... Why not? His grip tightened. What's waiting for you back there? Your father who sees you as an asset? Friends who put you at risk? A life where you're constantly in danger? Freedom, I whispered. Choice. A life that's mine. Your life will always be yours. He kissed me, soft and desperate. But let me be part of it. Let me keep you safe. Let me... He stopped, jaw tight. I'm asking you to choose me, Greg. Choose this. Choose us. I should say no, should insist we go back, should demand my life return to normal. But the truth was, I didn't want normal. I wanted this. Him. Us. Even if it meant living in a beautiful prison with the man who'd stalked me, controlled me, loved me with an intensity that should terrify me. Okay, I breathed. His eyes widened. Okay? Okay. I kissed him, tasting relief and possession and promise. We stay, but on one condition. Anything. We do this right. No more secrets, no more surveillance I don't know about. We're equals in this, or we're nothing. He laughed, raw and relieved. You'll never be my equal, beautiful. You'll always be more. You'll always be everything. He carried me back to bed, our bed now, and made love to me with a desperation that bordered on reverence. Say you're staying, he demanded between kisses. Say you're mine. I'm staying. I arched into his touch, my hands gripping his shoulders. I'm yours. Forever? Forever. The word broke something in him. He took me apart slowly this time, kissing every inch of skin, whispering promises against my throat, my chest, my stomach. I'm going to worship you, he breathed, every day for the rest of our lives, going to show you what it means to be loved by someone who would burn the world down for you. When he finally pushed inside me, it felt like coming home, like every moment had been leading to this, to us, to this dark, beautiful, twisted thing we'd built together. I love you, he groaned, his rhythm steady, devastating. God, Greg, I love you so fucking much. Show me. I pulled him closer, deeper. Show me what forever looks like. And he did. He made love to me until we were both shaking and boneless and completely undone, until there was nothing but skin and breath and the overwhelming certainty that this, us, was inevitable. When we finally came apart, we did it together. His name on my lips, my name on his, two halves of something dark and whole and perfect. Afterward, he held me close, our heartbeats sinking in the quiet. No regrets? He asked softly. I looked around the room, in our house in the middle of nowhere, my beautiful golden cage. No regrets, I confirmed, and I meant it. Epilogue. 6 months later. Life in the mountains was good. Better than good. Luke still watched me constantly. That would never change. But now I watched him back. Now I caught him staring and kissed him instead of flinching. Now I let him track my location because I knew he needed it to breathe. We'd established routines, boundaries. He'd installed a gym so I could work out my restlessness. I'd set up a studio where I could paint, something I'd never had time for in my old life. My father called weekly, disapproved but didn't argue. The threat was gone, but Luke remained my official bodyguard. The security contract was airtight. No one needed to know it had evolved into something else entirely. Coffee, Luke said, setting a mug beside me as I worked on a landscape of the lake. Thanks. I looked up, caught him staring at me with that same intense focus he had the first day we met. What? Nothing. He kissed the top of my head, just appreciating the view. The painting or me? Both. His arms came around my waist from behind. Always both. I leaned back into his chest, feeling safe and loved and entirely too comfortable in my captivity. Do you ever regret it? I asked quietly. Giving up your career for this? For me? Never. His voice was firm. This isn't giving up anything, Greg. This is finally having everything I ever wanted. A reclusive artist trapped in the mountains? My person, safe and happy and mine. He turned me around, cupping my face. That's all I've ever needed. I kissed him, tasting coffee and morning and the dark promise of forever. I love you, I murmured against his lips. I know, his smile was smug. You tell me every day. And you still haven't gotten tired of hearing it? Never. He kissed me again, deeper. Say it again. I love you, Luke Kovac, my stalker, my bodyguard, my person. Mine, he agreed. Forever mine. and as he carried me back to bed, I realized something that should probably scare me but didn't. I was exactly where I wanted to be. Trapped, protected, loved. In the most beautiful cage I'd ever seen. The end.